Hi, everyone. Welcome to Soft Solutions TV. My name is Will. I am the marketing manager for Soft Solutions. It is my pleasure to bring you episode 1 of Soft Solutions TV. We're going to be spotlighting things that New Zealand partners need to know, should know, must know in this channel series. Today, it is my honor to bring Kurt Brendan, Territory Manager at WatchGuard.
There's a backstory to that, guys. There's a backstory to that. So,
an all-around nice guy.
Good morning, Will.
Good morning. Good morning. And we'll be covering things that we think that New Zealand partners should know from a lockdown world. This morning, we've been working frantically on our respective backgrounds so that you guys all know that we are not sitting in the same room. And I like to decorate my place in a very minimal style.
Yeah,
that's right. I just moved.
I've got some plants. So I know it's not my place because I kill plants. So yeah, I forget to water them.
Right. Okay. So I guess let's kick off. Kurt, can I ask quickly, how long have you been with WatchGuard, and which previous company were you at before?
Good morning. Kurt Brendan, Territory Sales Manager for WatchGuard Technologies. So I work across New Zealand and the Pacific Islands, and I've been with WatchGuard for just over 2 years now. And previously to that, I was the WatchGuard product manager for Exceed, who the other distributors in New Zealand.
Yeah, nice.
So spent a bit of time with them, running their networking and security team, and then moved across, back into Vendorland to work with WatchGuard.
Cool. And actually, just to give a bit of a preface to this. Soft Solutions, myself, will have the joke opener and the vendor will have a joke in, and I'm looking for you guys out there to let us know which one got the better joke. So I'm going to kick off. Quick joke number 1. I heard a local man is addicted to brake fluid. He says he can stop at any time. It's terrible.
Oh, it's too early in the morning for that, Dad.
I still laugh at that. Even though it's the 5th time I read it. Anyway, anywho, that's number 1, opener. So we are day 20 plus into quarantine. There was a 48-hour scramble for partners to get end users working remotely and operating at a bare minimum. And the dust has settled. People are on a range of work and home devices, range of access points from their home, range of networks, public and private. Some are on VPN, some are not. Clearly not the safest of environments. What's next, and what can partners be doing to protect end users as we're still in quarantine, and who knows when we're back to normal. Kurt, can you talk us through the kind of vulnerabilities? Can you talk us through where the dangers kind of lie in this post COVID quarantine world?
Sure. As you say, there's a lot of people working from home at the moment. There has been a mad scramble to get people operational, and there are some policies that may have been bypassed in that process, just to get people working and keep businesses running, which has been not an ideal environment. So traditionally, our WatchGuard is a security company, and our partners and their end customers utilize our products for both inside the network and outside the network. So when people are working remotely, but a lot of the people who are now working outside the network were not taken into account when the original networks are set up. So yes, partners and end customers have had to move very quickly. So as you say, They are using systems such as VPNs. Some of them are using multi-factor authentication. Some of them are using network-grade equipment. Others are using home equipment. So it's a bit of a mismatch. But coming back to your question,
so I mean, I'm not a technical guy by any means. So
yeah.
I mean, would everyone be on home equipment? Obviously, you know,
I would
working from home.
say 90 to 95% of people are on home equipment. They're using their Spark or their 2 Degrees or their Vodafone router with the onboard access point, but they'll probably be using a work laptop or a work computer that's been sent home with them for the lockdown period.
Yeah.
So they're sharing what we call an untrusted environment, and then working back into a trusted environment from an untrusted location. And I use that word untrusted or zero trust because we don't know what's going on in that environment. You know, malware, phishing attacks, you know, everyone knows what phishing is, spear phishing, a very focused email sent to that user in that environment. If they're in the work network, there's a good chance that will be picked up and they'll be protected against it. When they're at home, it's like, you know, the Wild West.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Yeah. So the best thing is to take an approach that, you know, everyone is untrusted, everyone is being attacked. I've been running some scans on my home network, and I work from home as it is. So I'm a remote worker, so I have these systems in place. But I've noticed that the attack load on my home firewalls has quadrupled over the last 3 weeks. And I'm being port scanned out of countries like China and Russia, out of the Middle East, you know, a lot more than what I normally would be. So there's a lot happening out there, and the bad guys are making a really good effort to get stuff through. And I can guarantee they would have got stuff through as well. Someone would have received an email that they've clicked on that's got through, and they've been compromised in some way or some form. So the basic thing to do is, if you don't like the look of it, delete it. You know, if someone's has sent you an email that it's meant to get through and you've deleted it and you haven't replied, they're gonna pick up the phone and call you. So if you don't think it should be trusted, don't trust it. You know, delete it. Don't click on that link. Whatever you do, if the link, you know, if it looks bad, don't click on it. So, you know, just use common sense is the key thing there, and say the same thing to the family as well. Hey, guys, you might receive email from people that you would not normally receive email from. It's probably an attack, or it's probably some sort of phishing attack or malware or someone trying to get across you. Or your account credentials, because remember, we don't trust passwords ever. Passwords are never to be trusted. Your account credentials may have been compromised without you knowing during this period, and someone's launching an attack using your credentials. So there's things like that to watch out for.
So with, I guess, with entire organizations, in lockdown, working from home, and whereas they're at home and not in the same kind of environment as a well-protected workplace. I know WatchGuard, you've put together it's almost a quarantine 120-day pack, just to cover the situation. And I understand, it's normally it's a bundle of products that would normally be a 30-day trial. Given quarantine and how long that's going to last for and who that applies to, it's a 120-day, I think, offer. Can you talk us through
Sure.
what's in that pack? Why should a partner care? What should they do?
Right. Okay. So if our end users, our partners, are using our firewalls, they might be a physical firewall, they might be a virtual firewall, they might be a cloud-based firewall. So they're there to protect people and protect their resources. So those remote users might be accessing resources behind that firewall, or they might be accessing resources in the cloud. So if they're accessing resources behind the firewall, we want to make sure there's a VPN in place, and then the credentials that the person's accessing from are protected. So for that, we use an authentication service, a multi-factor or two-factor authentication service. Our multi-factor authentication service, which is part of that bundle, is called Authpoint. And that can be used for remote desktop services. It can be used for VPN services. It can be used for single sign-on services. All very simple to set up, all very simple to remotely deploy, and all very simple to push out to those end users, whether they're using a work machine or whether they're using a home machine. So we can.
So the bundle, I understand, is called Passport.
Passport. That's correct. Yeah.
But you can also pick and select. Is that right?
That's correct. So Passport is a bundle of 4 products. So multi-factor authentication, DNS firewalling, endpoint detection and response, and antivirus. So the 2 products that are rolled into the bundle currently are multi-factor authentication, Authpoint, and DNS firewalling, which is DNSWAtchGo. With that, we can set a policy for those end users, whether it be on the work laptop or whether it be for the home router. And you may have seen recently that the MOE has sent out a DNS firewall for students. So that works in a very similar way. But we have our own DNS services and our own protection services that can be managed by the enterprise. And that can be pushed out to the endpoint client or pushed out to the router. And then we can protect those networks accordingly and apply a policy across them.
And I mean, all of that clearly can be done, remotely. You could turn it on for someone, this afternoon.
Correct.
In 5 minutes.
Yeah. So a good example of that, I was on a call with a reseller talking through a customer at 10 o'clock in the morning. Their full deployment was finished by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that they were working through the what resources they needed, what the customer already had, how many users were there, what licensing was required. They built the policy, they tested the policy in-house, and then they pushed the policy out to all of their users. And I think there was 200 users on that on that site, that deployment. So
200. Wow, 200.
Yeah.
So that's Passport and.
So they were using the Passport licensing, and they were deploying Authpoint in the first instance, and then DNSWAtchGo in the second. They were already using our firewalls, so they had TDR, which is the endpoint protection and response, and they were layering the multi-factor authentication over the top of their VPN access. That's why they wanted to deploy it quickly. They already had VPN access, and they wanted their users to get access to assets behind the firewall. But it could be a similar case that they're using something like Microsoft Azure, and they've got all of their assets up in the cloud. We can put a firewall in front of that, or they can directly connect into those systems using the off-premise solution. So
you, a partner could roll that out to to their clients, free for 120 days. I think
that's correct. Yeah, and also too, that was a larger site. But if you've got 5 users and they don't have any sort of authentication service, our systems handle that as well. So you can create local databases that you can manage and push out accordingly. Minimum is 5 seats, but it can be used for 1 user as well as it can be used for 500 users. And
so when you say minimum is 5 seats, but you can use for 1 user, I'm confused.
So minimum purchase is 5 seats.
Yeah.
So if you've got a company with 3 users, they just need to purchase 5 seats.
Right. Okay.
But over 5 seats, they can go into singles. So you might have someone with 31 users, so they can purchase 31 seats. But that minimum purchase amount is 5 seats.
Cool.
And that can be arranged through you guys.
Yeah. And we've got another part of the 120-day free cover is a Firebox Cloud or Firebox C. Can you talk to us about that?
Okay, they're confusing there with the acronyms. So we have Firebox C and Firebox V. Firebox C is the cloud-based firewall.
Charlie and Victor. Yep.
That's it. Can be layered across Microsoft Azure or Amazon Web Services. So that one is still chargeable. But for Firebox V, the virtual, if you have bare metal or Hyper-V or VMware that you can run up a virtual firewall on, we are supplying those licenses for free for 120 days.
So Firebox Virtual.
Firebox Virtual, that's it. Yeah. So you'll need the infrastructure for that to run it up on, and a lot of businesses already have that ready to go, and they're already running services like Hyper-V and VMware.
Right.
Very, very simple. It uses the same layering approach as our physical firewalls or our cloud firewalls, and all of those services can be deployed very, very quickly. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that's a good summary. Range of product services that can be spun up and applied remotely this afternoon. DNSWAtchGo and Authpoint being part of a bundle called Passport, and
That's right.
Firebox V. Still got it wrong. Firebox V Virtual can be spun up as well.
And Firebox C can as well, but that's not included in the 320 days. But that could be, it's very simple to spin up as well if you've got an Azure instance, and those orders can be placed with you at Soft Solutions. So
cool.
So those are all products, and just to come back to your point around the remote users and using home equipment, what we are seeing a lot of is we have our secure Wi-Fi family. So what a partner is able to do, these are classed as
because it's the same color as your background.
A blend.
There you go.
Some invisible access points.
Put it over your face. Let's see what happens. No, there you go.
So with our secure Wi-Fi family, it's the only secure wireless platform on the market. What we're seeing a lot of is partners ordering the APs, sending them out, plugging them into their home routers, and then tunneling off the WatchGuard AP back to the customer internal network. So taking load off the Wi-Fi network that's been used by the kids, used for gaming, used for streaming Netflix, all of that sort of stuff. So we're able to manage that. And we can do the same thing with the VPNs as well. We can do split tunneling. So you can manage the load that's coming off your home network. And that can all be configured remotely, managed remotely, and tweaked remotely as well. So you've got all the systems in place to do that. If you're not using our firewalls in-house, you can use one of our virtual firewalls for free and set up all of those systems.
Right, like it. All right, let's wrap up with final five. Give us WatchGuard company stats. So what's the size of what's the headcount for WatchGuard? How many countries with offices?
Okay, 25 years in the business. We're the original physical firewall company. Red boxes. A lot of people know our red boxes, and we developed the first of the physical firewall boxes. Headquartered in Seattle and Washington State, COVID hotspot. So our head office,
stay there.
Well, yeah, but we have our warehousing is still operational. Our essential services are still operational.
Next question. Kurt, from personal level, what's another IT vendor you're watching, and why? One sentence.
Panda. We just bought it. So a enterprise level.
Oh, plugging yourselves.
Yeah, exactly. But
thank you. Next. I'm gonna take favorite business book or podcast. What's your where do you learn from?
Two. Book is Getting Things Done, and podcast. I can't remember the author's name. Hang on.
It's no. Come back. This is a quick podcast. Where are you going?
David Allen. I got it on my shelf. It's a white book, so I can't hold it over here.
Getting Things Done. I'll take that.
Yep,
last one. Last one. What did you wish your 20-year-old self knew that was only a couple years ago?
Oh, I'm just a youngster. That life is so short. So make the most of it. Nice. Live every day like it's your last.
All right, let's wrap it up and let's kick it off. Vendor closing joke. Let's hear it. Let's see it. Can you beat brake fluid?
Okay, hang on. I'm going to share my screen for a moment. So we're going to see the lovely. Here we go. This is Telfo where I live, by the way. So this is my lockdown. But I heard that with the COVID lockdown and everything that's going on, that wildlife had started coming back into London, especially into the Thames. So I looked it up and I found it. So it's yeah. Hey, what can I say?
Winner, brake fluid winner. There we go. That's a wrap for us. Thank you, Kurt, for time on the call. Partners out there in New Zealand, hope you found some value from that. We'll be putting these on a semi-irregular basis as and when. Stay safe and see you out there. Cheers. Thanks.
Great
Bye.
day.